make some soap. Alright, so I have started out by microwaving this giant bag of palm oil. Well, I'll be honest, step one was cleaning up this space because it was a mess. I haven't made soap in like 3 years, so I had to uncover everything. But we are gonna make some soap today. Cold processed soap, which is what we're doing today, is made up of various oils and fats and lye, specifically sodium hydroxide. So I've got palm oil, I've got coconut oil, I've got olive oil, and I have got canola oil. We're gonna be doing a specific mixture of these with a very specific amount of lye. I do have my normal recipe. I will put that in the description and also maybe show it on the screen here. I've tweaked it a little bit since the last time I made soap like 3 years ago. So this is also a little bit of an experiment just to make sure that this recipe is working and everything turns out good. So to start out, let's get things starting to melt. The palm oil you have to melt completely before you measure it out because there's kind of like different bits in it almost, so it needs to be completely mixed. So I went and microwaved that. I also have my little hot plate over here, which I'm gonna plug in, and we'll just stick this bag in some boiling water for a little bit and let it start to melt. So that might be a little bit loud, but while that is heating up, maybe I can tell you some of the plans, what we're working on. I'm actually gonna make 2 kinds of soap. I'm going to be making a Wizard Spellbook soap. I thought that was nice and thematic, and also I owe my friend soap. I'm going to try something a little bit new with that. I am going to try doing kind of layers with like mica in between the layers so it looks like little written pages. I've got a little thing here so I can kind of dust the mica and the charcoal powder, purple and black, onto it. I don't really want a bunch of the mica getting on the sides of the mold, so I grabbed a piece of cardboard from a pizza that we had the other night, and I'm gonna like cut it so that it's just slightly in and help protect the sides a little bit, hopefully, so that when I dust the stuff on top, it's not gonna go against the sides. We'll see how well it works. And then let's also make some cucumber melon soap just because I like it. Should I cut the thing first? Maybe like that. Probably should grab a, oh, here's a straight edge. Alright, I'm gonna cut this middle bit out. There we go. Anyone need a strip of cardboard? Didn't know we were gonna be doing this kind of arts and crafts today, did ya? Alright, there we go. And that should fit right over our mold. Excellent. Well, we'll see how well it goes. This is a bit of an experiment, but we like experiments here on this channel. Speaking of experiments, we're gonna be trying some new colorants. I went and made these dyes recently, and they're dyes. They're straight up like red 28, blue 1. It's that kind of dye, and you had to do a little bit of stuff to kind of turn them into actual pigments. I am gonna try these out for the first time today and see how they go. We'll see how well they do in coloring our soap. I've got the yellow and the blue. We're gonna do some nice green for the cucumber melon soap. The fragrances that I have picked out for today, well, I say I've picked out. The cucumber melon one I've picked out. The other fragrance for today is a little bit of a mix, and it was really more picked out by a friend who this batch of soap's really for. It's gonna be mostly warm flannel fragrance from Brambleberry. It's very, let me give it a sniff. It reminds me of like some fall spices. It has kind of a vanilla-y scent, kind of a cinnamon-y scent. It's very warm. It's very warm smelling. And then to go with that, we're gonna do a little bit of cedarwood essential oil, which is very woody. If you've ever like smoked any food before with like cedarwood chips, it's a very kind of smoky scent. And I don't actually remember if this was supposed to go in here or not, but I think a couple drops of this might be nice. This is just rose, which smells very lovely, but it'll add a little bit of kind of a floral hint to it. I don't plan on using very much. I'm just gonna use a a really tiny amount of the rose and a very small amount of the cedar because it's very strong smelling. It's going to be mostly this warm flannel, which has a very warm and cozy scent. The fragrance for the cucumber melon is literally just called cucumber melon. It's from Nurture Soap, and it smells like nostalgia. That was always my favorite scent growing up for anything, was cucumber melon. So it just makes me think of my childhood. Alright, I think I'm just gonna wait a second now for stuff to heat up. I'll show you the oil. It's starting to melt a little bit. Let's see here, it's starting to melt. Starting to melt. And you know, we could start measuring out some of the other oils while we wait. Why don't we do that? So I've got I'm gonna need to double everything in my recipe. So let's see, 18, 19 point, I'll just grab it's 19.2, but I'll grab my calculator out anyways, just to double check. All right, 9.6 times 2, yeah, 19.2. So we're gonna need 19.2 of coconut oil and the palm oil. Well, we can start with the coconut oil. Oh gosh. Got new oils. It's been so long since I've done this that a lot of the oils that I had previously were a little bit old, a little bit not good anymore. That is part of the reason I stopped making soap. I made soap before I ever did resin stuff, and it's really fun to make, but part of the reason I stopped is because you can't really make just one bar of soap, so you end up with a ridiculous amount of soap, and soap goes bad after a while because you are adding extra oils in to, you know, keep your skin nice. So I was making a ton of something that then, you know, goes bad after a while. Still works, just smells awful. Wow, I did not do a good job of taking the foil off of this. Now I have like a specific place that the soap's going though, so I have a reason to make it. I'm gonna use my nice heavy duty tablespoon here to get that out of there. We're gonna be doing everything by weight. I measure everything in ounces. So I'm going to turn that on. We're gonna just put everything directly in here. I sometimes wish that I had like a second person, so one of us could hold a camera while the other person does stuff. But let's start off with our coconut oil. So we're gonna add 19.2 ounces of coconut oil. That wasn't even half an ounce. It's gonna take a while. I do also have a recipe for pure coconut oil soap. The thing with coconut oil is it makes a very hard, very dry bar of soap. And so if you're gonna do coconut oil soap, you have to do a lot of extra oil. With any type of soap, you add, you know, maybe 3 to 5% extra oil. You want it to be nice on the skin, not super harsh. But yeah, you usually do 3 to 5% or so of super fatting, which is what that's called. But with pure coconut oil soap, you do like 10 to 20. It also behaves differently than this soap recipe that we're gonna be making today. With the coconut oil soap, you have a lot less work time to start setting up really quick. So it works really well for like, if you wanna make little things, you can make your little things and then the next day you have nice, solid little pieces of soap to attach to your main bars of soap. Whoops. All right, we're starting to get closer. We're at 17, 19. Oh, we're almost there. This might be it, actually. 19.2, like exactly. Excellent. I am, look, that's all coconut oil. This is good for me, right? It's good for the skin. I'm gonna wipe my hands off. So there's our, here, I'm gonna show you. Actually, I'm gonna show you how accurate I got here. Look at this. Look at this. I got exactly 19.2 ounces. Aren't you proud of me? Exactly 19.2. And the palm oil over here is looking rather melted. I'm gonna bring this over to the main camera. I'm just trying to kind of make sure that it mixes up. You can kind of see it's like not completely, there's still little bits in there. I'm gonna set it back in the hot water to sit for a minute. Well, while that's heating up a little bit more, we can add our olive oil and our canola oil. So I need to double these as well. So olive oil is gonna be 13.4. Yeah, 13.41. Excellent, perfect. And then our canola oil, let's see, for 2 pounds we'll do 6.1, so that's just gonna be 12.2. 8, 10, 11, 12 point, oops, I went over. That's okay. We're just adding a little bit of extra oils. I went a little bit over. I'm at 12.6 instead of 12.2. May have messed up on that one, but that's okay. See if I can get the palm oil over here. That's looking better. That's looking very, very homogeneous. Look at that. All nice and the same color yellow. That seems to be mixed up well. Let's measure it into here first. 19.2, almost, oh, exactly 19.2. I'm happy with that. Excellent. All right, now I'm gonna go set this over some nice hot water to finish melting. Feel a bit like a witch stirring her pot while I wait for my oils to melt. All right, we are still gonna need this. We're probably ready to do the next part here. I'm gonna put some safety equipment on it because we are gonna be working with lye. So let me grab some gloves and goggles. I'm wearing long sleeves. You don't wanna get any soap on your arms. Got my goggles here. So lye is not something you wanna get on your skin, especially not in your eyes. It will give you chemical burns, and I will show you actually what, I'm not gonna get any chemical burns, that's not what I mean, but I will show you how hot it gets when it comes in contact with water. 20 ounces of water. 20! Alright, time for goggles. Goggle time! Safety first. Ooh, this has been sitting there for, it's like solid in there. Ooh, that's interesting. That, I'm not gonna use that. That seems to have, it's very hydrophilic. It pulls water to it. That seems like sludge. Let's see if I can get one of the other ones down though. We'll pull out a new bottle of that. Hopefully this is still good. Like the other stuff, it's just been sitting here for the past, oh, that sounds more like it's supposed to. Okay. You can see in there. 9.2. Okay. We're at 4 now. 9.2. 9.1. 9.2. Alright. So we're gonna mix this up a little bit because it's gonna try and all like coalesce to the bottom. Our goal here is we want both our oils and our lye water to be within about 10 degrees of each other Fahrenheit and to be below 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Because as we mix this, it's gonna get rather hot. I can feel the heat coming off of this. I think I've got got it all off the bottom. Let me show you why you don't want to get this on your skin. Let's see what that's at now. It's now at 167 degrees, or almost 168. I'm gonna move that off to the side. The oils over here have been melting nicely. You can see there's just a couple little pieces in there left. It's only at like 110. So we'll let that melt completely. I kind of want to get the temperature on this up a little bit so that we can meet the lye water over there. We should measure out our fragrances and start getting some of our colors figured out. Because once we start getting this going, then we'll be going. Let's start with our cucumber melon. Cucumber melon. So we're gonna go for about, whoa, no, it's hard to pour out of these. There's our 0.6 of that. I will say this room ends up smelling very nice. It smells like all the different fragrance oils. Everything smells like cucumber melon now. I think I might want to split this up into 2 cups because I'm thinking we're gonna add our colorants to it, and I'm gonna do 2 different colors of green. About half of it. Let's try our yellow and our blue. They're probably not gonna mix in very well because these are water-based and this is oil-based, but that's okay. We'll see how it does once I mix it into the soap. For this other one, we're doing a mix of mostly warm flannel and then a little bit of cedarwood and a little bit of rose. Oh, actually, I might need a bigger cup for this. So when you're using fragrances that have vanilla in them, vanilla discolors soap to dark brown. But you can get this stuff called vanilla color stabilizer, where you add an equal part of it to the fragrance that has vanilla in it, and it will help keep it from turning dark brown. So we need a little bit more space. So we're gonna add about 0.5 ounces of our warm flannel. We're also gonna add 0.5 of our vanilla color stabilizer. Hopefully this stuff's still good. And then, like I was saying, I want to add a little tiny bit of the cedar wood and a little tiny bit of the rose. I'm thinking the cedar, I'm gonna add a little bit to the lid and then put that in. Let me mix this up a little bit and smell it. A couple of drops. And honestly, I think I can smell it in there. Let me add like one more drop. This stuff's very strong. I don't want to overpower the scent in there, but I do want to make sure that we can actually smell it. Yeah, it's very cedary now, but it's nice. It smells kind of woodsy. Which, we're going for old bookshop vibes, so that's fine. And then I'm going to add just a few drops of rose as well. Same deal, just a few drops, because I don't want it to be mostly rose. I just want a little bit of a rose scent in there. I think that's good old bookshop scent. It's a little bit of floral, some of that smoky scent. This one, I do want to add some of this titanium dioxide, which is a white colorant, because even with the vanilla color stabilizer, the soap tends to end up kind of a yellowish color. And also, I don't completely trust it to keep my soap from going brown. So we are going to move into actually mixing things. Our oils and our lye are within about 10 degrees of each other. This one's at 137, and my lye over here is at 142. So what we're going to do is we're going to be adding our lye to our oils, and then we're going to be mixing it up until it gets to kind of a yogurty texture. So I've got my hand dandy mixer here. I'm gonna pour our lye water in here. So you don't want to pour it when it is too different in temperature. I've never had it happen to me, but I've heard tale of soap volcanoes. Basically, they just go really quick and then they kind of explode. But anyways, we're gonna be mixing this. It's gonna be loud, so I will talk to you once I am done mixing it up. Do you see how it kind of changed colors? It got lighter. It was a little bit darker oranges and yellows, and now it's a little bit lighter colored. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, this is getting there. This is starting to get thicker. You can kind of see, kind of keep some of its texture here. Yeah, so I think this is probably good. I tend to overmix. I tend to mix it till it's a little bit thicker, but I don't actually want to do that this time because I want to try doing a drop swirl for the cucumber melon soap. So I want the soap to be rather liquidy. That's feeling nice and smooth though, and it's looking like it's the right color. We're gonna split this up. I want to try and put about 2 pounds over in our other things here. So let's do that. So that's 16 ounces in a pound. So 20, that makes sense to me because we're gonna do 2 colors here. So we want that, and we want about 12 of this one. That sounds about right. You can see it's starting to get a little bit thicker already. So these are gonna be the cucumber soap. Let's try pouring this one in. I don't know what color this is gonna be. This has the drops of stuff. It's a little bit of an experiment. Yeah, that didn't actually do much. I'll try adding some directly to here and just see what happens. Does this do much of anything if I mix that in? It's possible that this just doesn't work well in soap too. Yeah, it's not doing much. Let's add some mica instead. So this is actually what I usually use is mica. I'm gonna add a fair amount of that. And this I know will color our soap. So let's get that mixed in. I do want to make sure I mix this good though, because the mica can definitely clump up. So we're gonna kind of mix it, push it against the side a bunch. There we go, good. Nice dark green. Let's look at our light green. Went and added our lighter mica in there and our fragrance. Let's get that mixed in. You know, I was worried that it was too yellow, but no, actually this green's really nice. This is a good cucumber melon green, I think. And it'll be slightly different once it's cured as well. I want, you know, the two greens to be different. And they're definitely different at the moment. It's one of the fun things about soap that initially drew me to it, with cold process soap especially. And it's also kind of what drew me to resin, is that you can just do a lot of experimenting. It's just really fun to do. We're gonna pour all of this in here, except for maybe a little tiny bit. I think I needed to put a little bit more soap in here. We're just gonna pour a little bit more. So what we're going to do with this dark green is I'm going to try dropping it down the center, but from a bit of a height, because I want it to go into the middle, and I want it to go into that lighter color green. It is starting to set up a bit. Some of it's going to end up on top, but that's fine. Just want to make sure I have a good solid bar of soap. I've never been very good at drop swirls because I always let things thicken up too much. There's all the like dark green in there. So I've got that. I've got a coat hanger here, a nice clean coat hanger. I'm gonna put it down one side. I'm gonna like swirl it and round in here a few times. And I'm gonna try and kind of swirl those two together a little bit in there. I'm just kind of trying to drag it. There's our cucumber melon soap. We're ready to move on to our Wizard Spellbook soap. All right, we need to add our colorant and our fragrance. It's definitely starting to, you can see it's getting thick, but I want this thick, so that works out. So let's pour this in and then mix it up. So hopefully this works out. Hopefully it doesn't turn dark brown, but if it does, it will at least smell really good. All right, so let's mix this up. Maybe zoom you guys in just a little bit. Yeah, there we go, that's nice. Good thing I'm wearing goggles. I do like the off-white color, because this is like an old book. We're going for like an old book sort of vibe. I just don't know if it's going to end up even more off-white. You know what I mean? So my plan here is I'm going to scoop a little tiny bit into the mold. So I want to make sure I have a nice base layer of soap here. We're going to try and do like the page of a book. That's kind of the goal here. So there we go. We've got, you can see we've got some in there. I'm going to try and kind of like add some texture to it because it's going to be, you know, like writing. I want it to look like writing in there. All right, we're trying something new here. I've never actually tried this before. I put our little thing on here that we made earlier to try and help protect the sides a little bit. I'm gonna try dusting a little bit of mica and a little bit of that. Definitely all fell into one spot. Try putting some mica in here. That is definitely going through a lot quicker than I was thinking it would. I was hoping that it would stay in the strainer a little bit more because it is very thick. Well, that's fine. Next layer. The only real concern with it being too thick, the mica and stuff, is that it will make it so that the soap doesn't stick to itself. I'm gently adding another layer of soap. I actually didn't get too much on the side, which I'm happy about. Too much of the mica, it seems like. This soap could very well end up being a mess, but you know what? It'll be fun. probably a better way to do this, I'm sure, but you know, this is the way I'm doing it. I wonder whether it'll actually translate once we cut it, but we'll find that out tomorrow. Well, you guys will probably find it out at the end of this video, but I'll find out tomorrow. I've kind of given up, I think, on this, but we're sticking with it because I'm in too deep. Sunk cost fallacy. Because I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep... So I'm going with purple because this is soap that I have owed a friend for probably about 2 years or so. And purple is her favorite color. No! Pay no attention to the mic on my table. I wonder if I can just like... One more layer of soap. Some people make very like clean, elegant bars of soap. That's not really what we're doing here. Miss time's time for miss. I'm gonna make a mess. I'm thinking maybe we could drizzle a little bit of gold mica mixed with rubbing alcohol. So let's do a little bit of gold, a little bit of this gold as well. I'm also going to spray the top of this down, hopefully help this stick a little bit better. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of gold on top here. Try doing like this, but that doesn't seem to be working so well. That's definitely thickened up a lot. It's starting to set up. You can see the texture there. We're going to spritz everything down with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That's going to help, hopefully, from soda ash forming on top, which is kind of like it doesn't really do anything, it's just kind of like a white, ashy textured stuff that shows up on the top of bars of soap sometimes when it's curing. And we will come back in 24 hours and cut these and see how they look on the inside. It is the next day. Everything smells lovely in here. I'll be honest, it smells mostly like the cucumber melon. These have been sitting for about 24 hours now, so we can go ahead and cut them into bars. Let me grab gloves. So, the thing with cold processed soap is it takes about 24 hours for it to get to the point where you can cut it. You don't want to wait too much longer because it does, you know, set up more. And actually, in the vein of it setting up more, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for it to cure completely. You want to put it somewhere in a dry, location. It can sit and any water in here can evaporate. You can see on here how it's a little bit white and ashy on top. That's the soda ash I was talking about and why we sprayed it down. I don't necessarily have a good solution for how to fix that. We'll probably scrape some of it off on this one at the very least because we're gonna clean up the different sides. But yeah, that just kind of happens while it's curing. I don't particularly want purple mica on the outside of my bar of soap, so let's see if we can get some of this out of the way. There's still a bit, but that's at least clean enough, I think, for us to unmold some things. All right, I've got a little bit of a special thing for cutting soap. All right, bring out the machine. Okay. So, let me zoom you out. So this is my soap cutter. You can get these online and stuff, but my dad made me this one. All right, let's start with our cucumber melon one. go ahead and, this is the nice thing about silicone molds. What is it? Oh, interesting. So there's some kind of like, it almost looks like purple, but I think it's blue, little speckles in there, and I think that's from the liquid colorants that we tried out. Interesting. This is very soft, but that is fine. It's still rather fresh. I feel like it takes more force than I would expect sometimes. Depends. All right. Should we see how it looks? Ooh. Yeah, it has a little bit of a swirl in there. I think that's rather nice. It feels like, it smells more cucumbery. I feel like there's a lot less melon than there was yesterday. I don't know if the melon just cooked out, because the soap does get very hot while curing. I kind of like these ones where it's kind of in the corner. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna let these sit for probably another day, and then I will come in with a vegetable peeler and I will bevel the edges, smooth them out a bit. This soap's still very, very soft, so I still want it soft, but maybe not this soft while I am trying to bevel the edges. I want to be able to hold the soap. All right, so let's clean this up and we'll cut our other loaf of soap. I'm very curious to know what our other loaf is gonna look like, because it was very much an experiment. Such beautiful music. Okay. I'll clean that up completely once we're all done. Time for the next loaf of soap. This camera right here, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. It does not like my overhead lighting or a lot of the lamps that I have. It does that thing where it does like lines on the screen, because it's like the lights flickering at a different rate than the camera is in. This might be cool. Which is a little bit odd. So I have like a sun lamp over here blaring in my face, which works. It's just, you know, it's a little bit. All right. It's a little bit much. Okay. All right, should we see? Moment of truth. Ooh, it kind of worked. You know, it's not necessarily the most like writing, but I'm honestly okay with that. And the scent still ended up nice and warm. Maybe a little bit more of the maybe earthy tone. A little bit more of the cedar wood came through. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not the most book page-esque, I guess, but I still think it's kind of cute. And you can definitely see the purple in there too. The purple definitely shines through. I'm gonna let these sit, like I said, another 24 hours, and then I'll clean them up a little bit, and then I will get some finishing glamour shots for you.
It's now been more than a month since I made those bars of soap, which means that I can finally use them. Woo! The scents kind of got a little bit softer over time, but they seem to come through really well when you use them. I've used both bars of soap now, you know, to try them out, and they both feel really nice on the skin. I know this video was a little bit different from my normal videos. It was maybe a little bit less edited, a little bit longer, so let me know what you thought of this style. I'm thinking maybe I will bring it back for some resin stuff in the future if people like it. I do want to go ahead and take the time to thank my wonderful patrons for making videos possible. I still have some bars left over, so maybe I'll put some of that in my shop if you guys are interested. Keep an eye out for some more resin stuff coming here soon in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!